Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's April 9th, 2013. I'm Logan Burgess. To my right here is Brock Shimano. Well, Brock, let's jump into Fire Tip, see how the grains traded one day before the April WASDE report. As we see here on Fire Tip, we see corn trading up 10 1/4, soybeans picking up 18 cents, Chicago wheat off 5 1/2, and Kansas City wheat ending the day unchanged. Last trade there was 7.45. Catching a lot of attention though, Brock, is a corn market here, which has picked up positive ground 2 sessions in a row here, picking up 10 cents. Certainly good to see for anybody holding old crop bushels.
Yeah, it is good to see. Over the last couple sessions, we have picked up pretty substantial gains, 10 cents here today. But I do think we are meeting a little bit of resistance here today. If we jump into the daily chart for the May corn contract, you can see that we're right at the bottom end of that channel that we were trading for most of the winter, right in that 650 area. I think that's going to provide a little bit of resistance. Of course, tomorrow we do get some more fundamental news from the USDA. Right. We might be able to get above that if that news is bullish, but I'm looking for that up into that report to provide a little bit of resistance right around that 650 area or so.
Certainly, Brock. We've talked about the numbers a little bit here on the show. Yesterday we got into the South American production. If you guys are curious about that, go ahead and watch yesterday's episode of GrainTV. Today, though, we're really going to focus on U.S. ending stocks. Brock, can you kind of break down what the trade's expecting here, and then we can talk a little bit about where revisions might be coming from?
Looks like the average of the analyst guess polled by Reuters late last week was for corn to be increased by about 180 million bushels, on the ending stocks. Right. Soybeans and wheat to be increased by about 11 million bushels apiece. So not a whole lot going on for soybeans and wheat. Corn's really going to be the number that everyone's going to be focusing on. Of course, we know that last week in the quarterly grain stocks number, we saw a pretty large difference between what the analysts were expecting and what we actually got from the USDA, about a 400 million bushel difference to the positive side for greater quarterly grain stocks. So I think that's going to end up showing up here in the domestic ending stocks.
Yeah, absolutely. The USDA is going to have to account for that. As you said, March 1st, those grain stocks came out about 400 million bushels higher than what the trade is expecting. And if we look here once again at the domestic ending stock expectations, you can see here that the range of analyst guesses are pretty darn wide. Here at Grain Hedge, we are on the higher end of those expectations. We wouldn't be surprised if we saw U.S. ending stocks come in around 850 million bushels, just based on the lack of demand here that we've been seeing throughout the market, or throughout the marketing year. Obviously, feed usage is one thing that people are going to be looking at extremely closely. That was reflected in that March quarterly grain stocks report, and we wouldn't be surprised if we saw the USDA revise feed usage down by 200 million bushels. Two areas that we've been talking a lot about here on GrainTV in the last couple months has been export sales and ethanol as well. On ethanol, we wouldn't be surprised if we saw 50 million bushels knocked off there. Export sales, 25 or 50 million bushels possible there. So there's a lot of different areas that the USDA could make these revisions to, but ultimately, as you said, there's a lot of ground here to make up after those March 1st quarterly grain stocks. Bottom line, average analyst guess is looking for 812 million bushels left there in U.S. ending stocks. Keep an eye on that number tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep your eye on. Yesterday afternoon we did get a little bit of information about the winter wheat crop. Right. We saw the good to excellent ratings up by about 2%. I think that added a little bit of pressure on the winter wheat crop. Here today we were down about 5 cents or so for Chicago wheat, but that'll be something we'll have to continue to monitor as we move throughout the growing season there. Right. Another thing to note is we are still under new hours for trading. We open at 7 p.m. Central Time, close again in the morning, 7:45 a.m. for about a 45-minute break. Reopen at 8:30 a.m. Central and open to 1:15 p.m. Central Time. So the markets will be trading when those reports are released at 11 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. So that's something we're going to have to pay attention to.
Absolutely. If you want live quotes over at your home or office for the big report tomorrow, visit us at grainhedge.com or give us a call at the office here, 877-472-4607. In general, Brock, I think that kind of wraps up the action that we saw today. Thanks a lot for joining us here on GrainTV. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow for the big report.